Hello, I'm Gavin Hoey and you're watching another Photoshop tutorial. This week I'm going to show you how to take a picture that's got a pretty good sky and make it a really dramatic sky by adding a burst of sunshine breaking through the clouds. Now if you're like me, when you go out with your camera you really hope to photograph these bursts of sunlight, but you never seem to be able to manage it. I'm just never there at the right time, I guess. So we're going to create this inside of Photoshop. Let's have a look. So this is the picture we're going to use. As you can see, it's a pretty good sky to start with, but we want to put a burst of sunlight probably coming through here. Now that's the first thing to decide. Where is your burst of sunshine going to come from? And that looks like the natural place. Right, let's go to layers and make a new empty layer, and it's on that layer we're going to put our burst of light. Now we need to make sure that our foreground and background colours are set to black and white, so I'm just going to reset mine. We'll just hit D on the keyboard. Now come up to Filter, choose Render, and then Clouds. Now this might seem like an odd choice for a picture that's already full of clouds, but trust me, this is going to make the burst of light. Now it's not looking very sunshiny at the moment, so we need to apply another filter. Let's go up to Filter again, down to Blur, and go for, well, you've got a choice here. Now it depends on the sort of sunlight you want to have coming through. If you want the sort of sunlight that comes through in straight lines, you probably want to go with the motion blur. But for me, I'd like a big starburst of sunshine coming through. So for that, I'm going to use the radial blur. So let's find radial blur. And we have a few choices here. We could go with the zoom option or the spin option. For ours, we want the zoom option. The quality, good, draft or best, I'm going to go with the middle option of good. The amount, I'm going to shove this all the way up towards the top end, right up to 100. Now you'll see from the little preview thing here that this is going to zoom into the center, but frankly this preview is as good as useless as it nearly gets. Because this is a square preview and our picture is far from square. But we do know that our burst of sunlight needs to come out of the clouds which are more up. So I'm just going to drag this up in the air slightly and just over to the side. Now it's pure guesswork. There's no magic numbers with this, unfortunately. I'm going to hope it's around about there. It doesn't matter if we're not exactly right. Just hit OK. Now that's going to put the filter onto your image, and now it's starting to look like some bursts of light. But we need a little bit more there, so we're going to go back to Filter and choose Radial Blur again. It should be right at the top, and that'll apply the same filter exactly as you applied it before. So we're applying the same filter twice. Now that's given us a nice effect, but we want to punch this up slightly by going to Image, Adjustment and Levels. Now on our histogram here we have a beautifully centered histogram, absolutely perfect. But to get a bit more punch into this, I'm going to bring these little sliders in from both the left hand side and the right hand side, bring them in towards the center so they meet the edges of the graph. That should give you a much more contrasty looking image. So how do we turn that into the light's rays on the picture? Well, we do it by changing the layer blend mode. Currently it's set to normal, but if I click the little drop down list I've got a whole bunch of other options. Now I should say this may work for my picture, but you may want a different setting on yours. I'm going to go with screen, but if that doesn't work so well, consider overlay and soft light. They both give pretty good results. Okay, so there we are. There's my screen overlay, and you can see the pictures coming through, but it's a little bit on the bright side, isn't it? It's a bit much. So we're going to tone this down by making a layer mask. Now we'll find the layer masks right down here, right at the bottom. It's a little rectangle